January 25th, 2025. This is my review of the reading of Job, chapters 22, 23, 24, and 25. So we've got Job, and we have his friend Eliphaz. And he starts out with some really good questions. I really like these questions. Can a person do anything to help God? Think on that just a little bit. Can a person do anything to help God? Consider that. Then he asks, is it any advantage to the Almighty if you are righteous? Is there? Is there? Is there any advantage? Would it be any gain to him, God, if you were perfect? Those are excellent questions that we all ought to be asking and understanding and seeking to understand. And I would say, by all means, it does him good for us to be righteous and for us to help him. That's what he made us for. And not only did he make us for that, he provided Jesus as a way to him to wash us and make us righteous. We are righteous through Jesus, so therefore it is an advantage for us to be righteous. It's also an advantage to him for us to be good and to do good. So that's my thoughts on the answers to those questions, but consider it, and I will consider it still think on this, ponder on this. I think that's why it's there. But then, Eliphaz, he starts throwing a bunch of accusations. Maybe you did this, maybe you did that. Just terrible. And then we have Job. That's one thing I caught too. Yeah, in 21:21, submit to God and you will have peace. I agree with that. Then things will go well for you. Wrong. Obviously, that did not happen. That was God. Job was submissive to God. God told Satan that. So that's obviously not true, and I can attest to that to my own life, that not all things go well when we're following the Lord. But Romans 8:28, all things work together for the good of those who believe and are called to his purpose. So it doesn't feel good at the time, but it always turns around, always comes out right, and for more people, for more righteousness. Here we have the story of Job and his suffering, and we have all the things that go along with that for us to understand that we don't necessarily bring our own problems to us. Sometimes it happens. I won't deny that our bad choices will yield us problems, but it doesn't always work that way. And it's not the reason for our sufferings. We don't know. We may never know the reason for our trials and tribulations, but it does produce character, as James tells us. We should count it all joy when we face these. Some interesting words that Job didn't have. Let's see, just moving on here in my thoughts. If Job says, if only I knew where to find God. God is all around us. He was seeking God. He had felt God. He had known the presence of God and knew what that was like, and he was missing that. He looked to the east, looked to the west, looked to the north. He could not find him. And then he says he treasured the words more than food. And he says, I am so terrified in his presence. When I think of it, terror grips me. But then we get into Job feeling wronged again and kind of saying, why haven't the wicked been, why am I suffering? Why are the wicked not suffering? And he's pointing out a very important thing, that in this life, the wicked may not suffer, but the judgment of God is final. And then we have Bildad. Last little bit, just a little bit of reply. And I like it. God is powerful and dreadful. He enforces peace in the heavens. True. Who is able to count his heavenly army? Doesn't his light shine on all the earth? How can a mortal be innocent before God? Good question, right? Can anyone born of a woman be pure? God is more glorious than the moon. He shines brighter than the stars. In comparison, people are maggots and mortals are mere worms. But we hear in Job, we see that God calls Satan a righteous. There's none other like him. But in Romans, we see that we all fall short of the glory of God. We all need the Savior. So, true. We all need it. So, anyway, some cool things in this little reading here that stood out to me. And think on that. Can a person do anything to help God? Is it any advantage to the Almighty if you are righteous? And would it be any gain to Him if you are perfect?